Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven from Ganyu Studio. Today I will be having an exciting figure unboxing and review of this figure right here, Apex Toys 1x7 scale Ganyu from Genshin Impact. But before we move on to the details of this figure, whether it is any good, how about the paint job and everything else, we go back in time and check out the unboxing process which I actually filmed for this video. Also, I already uploaded a short video, a vertical short video on the unboxing process of this figure, those smartphone vertical videos if you are interested in that. But if you have not checked that out, that is fine. Continue watching this video for the unboxing. Let's go. And that concludes the unboxing process of this figure. This is a very simple figure, not much to assemble, unlike Ningguang or Keqing. You can check out their reviews on my channel as well. She was actually released back in mid-January, around 13th or 14th of January, at least in China. But between the 15th to the 30th of January, those 2 weeks are public holidays in China because it is Lunar New Year, which is the largest holiday of the year for the Chinese and a big number of Asians in general. Some call it Chinese New Year. So everything is shut down. Shops, businesses, shipping and logistics. So this figure was shipped up to me back in January, but she was stuck in a warehouse for 2 whole weeks. And now I've just received her earlier today in early February. So at least she arrived in good shape, no damage on the boxes or anything like that. Also, speaking about her pricing, if you pre-ordered her over in amiami, for example, she is going for a bit over 16,000 Japanese yen, if I remembered correctly. The Chinese official retail price is 728 Chinese yuan. Yep, so that is the amount I paid for her. At 1x7 scale, she stands at 24 centimeters tall, but that is including the base. This is typical height for a 1x7. And a quick mention about her box, which you guys saw in the unboxing. This is what her box looks like, and I think Apex Toys took a bit of inspiration from Alter, because this is very similar to how Alter designed their boxes for a big number of their figures in the past few years. Transparent plastic, which is very nice to look at, and we have some gradients over here. Full plastic box, not too big as well, so she won't be expensive to ship. But otherwise, very attractive box and not much to comment about. Now we move on to the actual figure itself. Despite being a lower cost scale figure, just like Keqing was, especially when you compare both of them to Ningguang, Apex Toys did not really cut any corners with this figure. The figure turns out great. She is very well made, and this is something I always appreciate because, well, they treat their expensive and cheaper figures equally. I really love that. Speaking of the figure's craftsmanship, the sculpting and the paintwork, I see no real problems with the sculpt department of this figure, especially after I compared her to the official product photos, those that were printed on the box and those you saw online. Yes, the face is about 90-95% similar to what you see in official product photos. So I don't see real problems over here with her face. I am very happy about it. And then we move down to her torso, her body. This is where you can find a lot of details on her outfit. I really liked that red and gold color ornament on the left side of her waist. Yes, that red color string or rope coming down from the side. It looks very real. It looks like an actual rope to me. And I really love that. The paint work and the decal placement is also on point. I don't see much issues with quality control despite all of the details going on. And once again, this is a lower cost scale figures. I don't really see any paint transfer or paint scratches or ugly seam lines on most part of the figure. Well, there is one single spot over here at the side of the figure, this gold color trim over here. Yeah, you see that spot over there? This is the only one single paint issue I can find on my copy of this figure of Ganyu. This is also the type of quality control issue that is completely random. It does not appear on every single copy of this figure over here because it is caused by dust particles. So when you paint a figure, there are three basic layers: the undercoat or the primer, and then you have the actual paint work, and finally a clear protective coating to protect the paint. So what happens is that a dust particle falls and sticks on the figure surface during the primer layer itself, and then you paint over that dust particle anyway, and then later on, that area which has a dust particle over there, the paint is not sticking on the primer layer properly. And when the dust particle does fall off, it brings the paint work together with it, and as a result, you see a hole over there where beneath it, it is grey or white in color. This is exactly what happens over here. Dust issues. Unfortunately, dust spot problems, they are very common nowadays in almost every figure brand. I have reviewed Alter or Good Smile figures with a very similar problem, though in their case, the dust particle falls on the figure after it has been painted, but that dust particle is sealed underneath a clear coating, so you still can't remove it anyway. You see a black or grey color spot over there. Other than this one single spot on my Ganyu figure over here, the paintwork overall on the entire figure from head to toe is excellent. I really like the gradient and the weathering they did on the hair of this figure. You see her hair, you can see a mixture of light to darker blue color all over her hair, including behind the figure. This is something I really appreciate, shading and weathering, even on a lower cost figure, because Kotobukiya does not really do that. If you buy a lower cost Kotobukiya figure like their Art FXJ series, 15,000-16,000 yen for a 1/8 scale figure, they don't really gradient their paintwork like this, like what you're seeing in this figure of Ganyu. So in the every sense, this figure of Ganyu over here by Apex Toys is a better product, a higher quality paintwork than what Kotobukiya does at the very same price point, and that is amazing. Speaking of the assembly process, this round object she's holding, this is what it looks like from the above, from the top. You only need to push that plastic bag slightly into the hole inside her right hand. Don't push it too hard, it is unnecessary. You're not supposed to push the whole bag in anyway, because if you use too much force, there is a risk where you might break that very thin and fragile bag over there. Lastly, the base of this figure, this is where things get really interesting. For one, the base is rather heavy. It is not hollow like what every other Japanese brands do. This is a good thing because it weighs the figure down. You are less likely to knock the figure over by accident. The figure itself isn't as stable as I would have liked. As you can see, the base isn't 100% flat. The most interesting part about this figure is that you're getting one extra set of foot pegs over here. So is this Apex being nice enough to give us an extra set of foot pegs in case you broke this one over here? Well, not really, because this figure of Ganyu can be plugged into Ningguang's base. I don't really have the figure of Ningguang with me at the moment. It is not in my studio. These pictures are taken from the Chinese e-commerce website Taobao, specifically the Genshin Impact official merchandise store. So yeah, you can display this figure with Ningguang together if you have Ningguang. Anyways, we are now at the end of the review of this figure of Ganyu by Apex. At 16,000 Japanese yen or 728 Chinese yuan, I can highly recommend this figure of Ganyu. What other choices do you have in the market anyway for a figure of Ganyu? No other scale figures of her exist, maybe except for unlicensed and pre-painted resin garage kits out there. And fortunately for this only figure of Ganyu out there, she is borderline flawless, almost flawless if not for that single paint spot on my copy of this figure of Ganyu. Once again, that is completely random. If you buy one, maybe you won't have that issue, and if you don't, this is pretty much a perfect figure. A flawless figure at a very low price point. What else can you ask for? If you enjoyed this review, I would really appreciate if you give this video a like and do subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, and I shall see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.